Okay, so third time's the charm. We're gonna try this again. Welcome back to the Real Housewives of F1. Guys, I'm laughing because I recorded this 3 times, so hopefully this works. Essentially, this is episode 6 of the Drive to Survive. They call it Wheel of Fortune. I'm gonna call it a mess, like how recording this video is. These are the McLaren boys. Basically, their contracts are signed. There's no movement in between them, which is why we haven't really talked about them until now. But we're going to talk about the stupid decision the team makes, basically ensuring that Lando did not get the Drivers' Championship. That's what happened. They ensured that because they decided they wanted to have 2 number 1 drivers instead of picking a number 1 driver earlier in the season. So I'm going to talk about the race. Hungary. Yeah. The race in Hungary, where they had a front row lockout. Everything's looking good for McLaren. By this point, McLaren is known to have the fastest car. They get the front row lockout. Everything's looking copacetic. Lando's in first. Oscar's in second. Instead of saying, like, hey, let's, he's in the driver's championship contention. Let's make sure that he stays first, giving Oscar directions not to go in front of him and protect him from anybody else, Verstappen, coming after him. That's not what they do. Lando bottles it in the first corner, which he's done that pretty often. He actually did that a couple of times. He bottled it in the first corner. So after bottling it in the first corner, Oscar gets second. Oscar runs a great race, actually. Very clean, very sharp, very fast. So after Oscar runs that great, not even after, during the race, McLaren messes up the order for the pit stops. They pit Lando first. Lando comes out before Oscar, and now Lando's running in first place, even though Oscar had the pace and he was winning for like more than half the race. So now you have the McLaren team begging and pleading on the phone. Lando, please, get Oscar his place back. Like, we messed up. You should not have pitted beforehand, but now we're in this predicament and you have to give the place back. And Lando's like, tell that man to catch up and we can race. If not, then I'm sticking to my guns and I'm in first. And they're like, for 5 laps, they're pleading, begging on the phone. Lando, please. Long story short, he ends up giving the place back. Like, Oscar was 6 seconds behind him. He ends up slowing down so that Oscar can get the place. They still end up 1-2. This is also Oscar's first F1 win, and it kind of like put a stain on it, unfortunately, because he was running a really great race, but like that whole situation happened, and everyone's looking at McLaren like, what the hell are y'all doing? Anywho, they have a few more mess ups after that. One of them in particular that they mentioned is Monza. These two are fighting against each other. Then the Ferrari ran straight through them and got first place, and they was like looking at each other stupid, like, what the hell did we do? Because of all those mess ups, we get to Baku. They're like, okay, we're gonna choose a number 1 driver now. Lando, because of your experience, you're gonna be a number 1 driver. They even say like he was the better driver. They just said because he has more years on the team. And they didn't even mention the fact that he was in the driver's championship, like he's the one closest to Max. They were like, because you're the experienced person on the team, you're number 1, Oscar you're number 2. They set those rules straight. What happens in Baku? Lando qualifies 15th. I don't know if something happened with the car, I don't remember, but all I know, Lando was 15th, Oscar was in second or first. So now they run the race. Oscar's all the way up in the front. And now they're giving direct and clear team orders, thank God, so that they can at least win the Constructors' Championship. They give team orders. Perez, who's in the other Red Bull, is right behind Oscar. Perez does a pit stop, and then he ends up behind Lando. And so they're like, hey, Lando, can you just slow Perez down just a little bit so that Oscar could do his pit stop, and then he can be in front of Perez? Lando's like, I'm going to play the team game. Sure, guys, I'll slow him down. So he slows him down, blocks him. Oscar ends up being in front of Perez, wins the race, chef's kiss, mwah. They finally know how to listen to directions. That is how they ended up still being Constructors' Championships, even though their stupid decisions messed up Lando's chances to be a driver championship. I don't blame it all on their stupid decisions. I blame it 50% on their stupid decisions, 50% on their car was still underdeveloped in the beginning, and also he bottles a lot of his starts. But still, if they made that decision earlier, it would have been at least a better fight, in my opinion. So that was the recap of episode 6. Stay tuned for episode 7.